Welcome to Jerking Around, a podcast that makes you feel better about yourself because we're a mess just like you.
And Crystal makes fun of me the whole time.
And it's great, and it's real. Welcome to Joking Around.
Welcome.
Teisha and I, we ride together when we come to this recording, and then we talk about so many good things in the car. So some of these things we tried not to talk about in the car, so I'm excited to talk to him about her.
I was trying to talk to her, and she's like, save it!
You guys, I recently got a Tesla. This isn't the story I've been waiting to tell you, but I recently got a Tesla, and we drove it here today. Because...
We is a loose term. The Tesla drove itself. The
Yes.
Tesla drove us.
The Tesla drove us here. Teisha has the stomach flu. Jet, I hope you don't get it. No.
I'm better today.
She had the whole thing yesterday. We had to reschedule the podcast.
Yeah.
So she doesn't ever let me drive. Never, ever lets me drive.
Never.
So
But I'm sick.
she's so sick. She doesn't even know what day it is. So I'm like, I'll drive us today, but I'll let the Tesla drive, which I never let it drive so that we don't swerve because I swerve a lot. And so it drove us here, and it was safe. I didn't even do anything. It literally drove us here. And we got here faster.
Yeah,
than
and it
me.
was very less jerky. Normally we're
Jerky?
like jerking into the lane. I'm like, why are we jerking? It's so scary. And we're going at like a high speed, so I think the car's gonna like flip. There was no jerking. It was
Everybody says I'm a bad driver. It's
It was
awful.
like very smooth transitions. Normally the transitions aren't that smooth.
No?
We're slamming the brakes.
Really?
We're going. We're
Really?
trying to get over. Yes.
So when I was little, the little car games, you know, that you play at the arcade, I
Right.
can't stay in the lines. The car was always crashing and rolling, like you said. And I just think it's like God created me to not stay in the lines. Like in art as a kid, I got a C because I couldn't color in the darn lines.
Yeah.
I feel like Kennedy's like me.
Yeah.
Your daughter. Mm-hmm. We're not staying in the lines. We like to live outside the lines.
And I support that, but I feel like there's like a safety element to staying in the lines while driving. I feel like it's like life or death. But I do think this is a great car for you.
It is a good car for me.
I could never own this car because
I didn't
would
really
freak
want
out.
one.
Yeah.
There's so many things I want to talk
You
about.
didn't even touch the wheel the whole time.
Pretty much.
Jet, no touching the wheel.
I didn't touch the wheel, Jet. But what's crazy is there's so many topics coming into my head. So if I stop looking at the road, the camera, Tesla knows, and then they warn you that if you don't start looking at the road, it's going to stop driving.
So you couldn't fully just be like on your phone.
Yeah. It
It wants
will
you
stop.
involved
Watching.
I
even was looking at Teisha on my phone, and it was like, get looking. And but I didn't have to have my hands. But there's so many things about this that we'll just go right into.
The robots.
The blow up, we were in Vegas this weekend, and there was that Tesla that blew up. Mm-hmm. And Elon went in to get the camera footage, but I don't know what it came from. That's where I learned there was a camera. I didn't even know there was a camera in the car. I wonder if you can access footage. Like if Maddie's with a boy, and I'm like, hey, Elon, check what they did last night, because they took a little while to say goodbye.
Well, I feel like you can access it. But what's more concerning is, are they accessing it without our consent?
Oh, for sure. Like Alexa knows way too much.
Totally.
We have Alexas in our house, and I'll be like, Alexa, say goodnight to the kids or whatever on the speaker. And she's like, Crystal, I'll say that. And then she knows it's me. I don't say this is Crystal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of AI things coming up that
and
are
they're
crazy.
watching. And Alexa would be, she's probably watching what you and Kyle do, and it's just like, what the? This is some freaky She can't believe it.
So Teisha and I have like 4 topics I don't want to lose. The robot and Paige and Craig, but no, Teisha and I talked after the last episode, I think, or no, in life. She always uses like sex as a negotiating tool for Ben.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
And so she was telling me like,
we
hey,
talked about it on the podcast last week.
did you? Like, I'm
We
giving
did.
it up too easily.
Yes. Yeah, and you told
Kyle was so mad. He's like, no, I get what I want.
We went on a ski trip together, and we were telling the guys, Kyle and Ben, our husbands, about the last podcast, how I use it as like a, hey, put away my suitcase from the trip, and I'll give you a little.
He puts away your suitcase for.
Yeah, and then he knows he gets.
Does he unpack your whole
He
suitcase?
gets a little treat. Yeah, and like that's usually a closet, so it's a little special. And so we'll do it in the closet because he like put away the suitcase, you know? Like it's
So all day are you just negotiating things?
kind of. And so we were telling Kyle and Ben this, and Kyle is beside himself.
He's pissed. He's like,
first of all, Crystal just does these things for no reason, which I'm like, what is wrong with you? What girl's doing that? Like, it's crazy. And then, so I'm trying to tell Crystal, no, you got to take it away. Like, you got to reel it more back like, in. Oh, you've given it all, and it's like, you got to rein it back in. And then Kyle's telling Ben, you don't need to put up with this, man. You should be getting all that for no reason. Like,
oh, he's still mad about it.
Oh, but it was just funny because we were both telling the other person, and then so Ben tried to act like.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, what if he's like, you outright? I get what I want.
No, you're gonna do it for no reason. And I was like, okay, buddy. No, I'm not.
And Kyle was like,
but good for
if you ever try to use that as a negotiating. Blah, blah.
Well, he tried to be like, I'll give you something special. And he's like, oh, yeah, like last night? Like, for no reason? It's fine.
I can't elaborate anymore.
Oh, I can't either.
But, boy.
Oh, boy. Yeah, maybe
different strokes for different folks.
Totally.
And
all the strokes for Kyle. He's getting all the things, the whole kit and caboodle for nothing. I mean, but what do you use then to get him to do what you want?
He doesn't.
So horrible. No. So you just.
No wonder why I say when Kyle says no, it's no.
Yeah, I'm like, when Ben says no, I'm like, oh, I gotta go to like, there's like levels, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
First level is like, I'll be nice to you.
The
second level is
the exit, like that thing, that's like, it's not really a thing. That's probably the only thing that is left. That's just not gonna happen.
Shoot.
So all the other things, I mean.
Yeah, you're just doing them. So it's just not
like we can go in the closet anytime.
Yeah. So.
And like do all the things.
So I'm being honest when I ask you this. How do you get him to do something when he says no? Like, how do you change his mind? I'm saying.
Okay. So I fight with him. Like we have to discuss it for days.
Oh, that's way less fun.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
No, we have to be like, Kyle, this really matters to me. That's why I didn't go to the Bahamas.
Oh.
You know, it was like, no.
Oh, yeah, no. And I even do it with our friends. I'm like, I'm not going to use names to protect the privacy of those involved. But I'll be like, hey, let's all go do this in a group. And then I say, hey, Jack, Susie will do this if you guys can come. And then Susie's like, hold the phone here. But then, you know.
What would she do?
The same things that I'll do.
What, go in the closet?
I mean.
If I called Kyle right now, you'll hear him get so mad. I can't.
But that's crazy. So you have to fight to get what you want.
Yes, always. Don't you notice?
That's real. No, I'm being serious. Like I do notice now that you're bringing it to my attention.
Yes.
But I'm genuinely like, wow, because I don't ever fight to get what I want.
Yes,
it's all about the enticement.
No, I have to fight for everything I want.
Interesting.
That he doesn't want.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's hours of discussion, and like
I don't think I've ever fought to get what I wanted. That's so interesting.
I never have not.
Yeah.
Like, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It gets annoying.
Oh, that's so annoying.
If I'm really nice and if I make it be his idea, then I might, but no, that's why it's always no on certain things. I'm like, no, Gal said no.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those relationships where it looks like I'm the strong one, but really I can get him to do things, but not the big things. He has to be on board.
Like, fight about it too.
Yes.
Jeez.
Big time. It's annoying.
Ew. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, no. If I said, I don't even know what I would say. Like, okay, we can, he'd be like, okay. Like, if I tried to call him right now and be like, hey, if you do
like,
this,
we should joke around.
I'll
be like, Ben, let's go to like San Diego this weekend. And he'll be like, no, you're crazy. And then I'll be like, hey, you can
What would you say? We can.
I would probably throw out like a number.
Like a number what?
Like a number, like
79?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would say we can, and then he would say, okay, fine. Yeah.
No.
It's like crazy. It's like magic.
Yeah, that's just normal.
Interesting.
Normal around these parts.
Yeah.
Not like the number, but those things go on. Okay, let's move on. I'm sweating. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Paige and Craig's breakup. It's big news. And if you've listened to this a lot, you know that I love Paige DeSorbo and I love Craig Conover. They're both Paige is from Summer House. She also did Winter House. She also is a host of Giggly Squad.
A podcast
that we talk about. We went to their show. And then Craig is on Southern Charm, which is one of my favorite shows, as well as Summer House are. They're probably like my two favorite reality shows, and Winter House, which they've both been on.
You were very excited when this match came together.
It was like a match made in heaven for me. But if you've listened, I've also expressed on the podcast that something is weird with their relationship. And now it's true. I knew Paige wasn't going to marry him because she wouldn't, like, there was so many things. If you watch the shows.
They were never moving together.
They were never moving together. When they first started dating, she said she would move, because I've rewatched now. Yeah. She said she would move to North Carolina. South Carolina?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. When, you know, like, they started dating, because everyone's like, if you date him,
right,
you know, and she's like, oh, I'd move in a second. Like, she wanted to marry him
in New York, he lives in South Carolina.
But Giggly Squad, Paige's fame level was a lot different back then. So I don't want the gigglers to come for me, because this is something that's been going on this week in social media.
Yeah.
So if you talk negatively about Paige, it's not good.
No.
But I would say on the breakup, I am Team Craig, if there was a side. I love Paige to death. But I just think, I think she knew she wasn't going to marry him, or thought there was something weird. I don't think we ever know. Like, when you're with a guy and you think you're not going to marry him, it's like you try to talk yourself into thinking it's a good idea. I've done that, where I'm like, well, it'll be fine. Once we get married, this will go away, or that will go away, or this will feel better. But when you're with the right guy, it's so clear as day that you're going to marry them and that they're right, that it's like I wish I could tell girls, wait for that feeling, because you'll never have a doubt.
So when after they broke up, she went on her podcast and said the reason they broke up is because she's focused on her career. She's not ready to settle down. He wants to settle down. She's really into her career and doesn't want that. Do you think that if you're with the right person, that goes away?
Yes.
Like, if
Hannah is just as into her career.
Right, and
which
she's
Hannah
happily married.
Has really come from behind. And speaking of,
I love Hannah.
Hannah wasn't always my favorite, and now Hannah Brenner.
Yeah.
That's her last name. She also is a comedian. Burner.
Yeah.
And she has a podcast out there that's good on her own, and then she has this. But Hannah got married like right away. They started dating. She's like, he's the one. Got engaged, got married.
Right.
He supports her career. It's just not a thing.
Right.
Hannah's waiting to have kids for Paige. I think that part's a little like
weird.
You know, and like we had that where I was trying to wait, and then it all worked out where we had kids together. But I just think, I think that Craig on Southern Charm, it's always talked about how his friends were like, something's weird. She doesn't come on trips with us. They stopped filming in each other's shows, which is so weird. Like, who doesn't want to be with their boyfriend over the weekend?
Yeah.
Like, I would do anything to not have my boyfriend out without me too.
Totally.
Like, make sure you're here.
And nobody cares about her career. Like, you care, but like when you're in love, you don't care about anything.
No, nothing.
It's like, whatever. I'm just like.
You care about that number.
And she's like, not.
That number.
Yeah. And not like she's old, but she's not like a spring chicken, you know?
That's the part
when you're in your mid-30s, early to mid-30s, I feel like thinking about settling down is a really normal.
Natural.
Yes.
The eggs.
Yes.
So Craig, in this season of Southern Charm, he froze his sperm.
Wow.
Yeah, because he was getting ready to settle down, and Paige was pushing it off.
I think it just wasn't the one.
But moving on from that, whatever you guys think about that topic is whatever. But Teisha has been scared that we were going to get sued from the podcast, so we've been editing some things a little more. But we did
everything.
I know.
Well, because my conspiracies, the things I discuss on here versus the things that I really believe in my head, I can't even touch on those things here because it would be like, first of all, they'd probably put me in a sane asylum.
Like Kanye.
Yeah. Or I would be killed. Or
like many others.
I would be really threatened like I already was. So called old.
Yeah. So we have been editing, but
I gotta really
Paige got mad last week. Somebody said that she cheated with this other guy, and she usually doesn't care what anybody says. I told you.
Yeah.
And she got on there and said, "See you in court."
Yeah.
To the person.
Oh, I crap my pants. If Paige said that to me, if Justin says that to me,
Bieber,
I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so done.
But she was talking about it on our podcast yesterday. She's like, I didn't mean it. I just wanted to scare him.
Oh.
She's like, I'm not going to waste my time on that.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted you to know that.
Oh, yeah, that helps.
That's not a big deal. They're not going to do it.
About me.
And like Tyler told us, if Justin's coming for us, it's like, there's a reason. Like maybe it would make him look worse.
Yeah.
And it would give us more credibility.
I don't want anyone to sue me.
No. But moving forward, yeah. So moving on with the Tesla, the robots is something we've talked about. Kim got one. But I was watching a thing yesterday, and you told me the stats that there will be, what was that statistic?
Yeah.
Alleged.
allegedly, there was a video on Instagram of Elon saying that like in 40 years, there's going to be an equivalent amount of robots to people in the world, which I don't know if that was an AI video because they make those now.
Yeah.
And so, remember the one you thought Chris was like, look at this video. And it was this plane.
Well, it's totally scary AI. Though how much AI is taking over. Like
because
everything.
The videos look really real.
Yeah.
But anyways, there was a video of him allegedly saying that. And I don't know if he really said that. But if that's true, that's very scary.
So I was going to watch this show on Netflix the other day. And it was like how this guy fell in love with his robot. And we were saying that about Kim. Like I could see that.
Right.
Kim Kardashian allegedly falling in love with her robot. But I think it would become like a companion, just like an assistant. I think a lot of these people have their assistant and then they don't, celebrities, they don't need like their husband anymore. Right. Like Bethany Frankel, when we used to watch the show, Bethany's reality show years ago, Jason Hoppy was like, I thought they were so cute together, but she had so many people like feeding her ego and like doing what she wants that she didn't need like a husband.
Right.
Like you without Ben would be lost.
Yeah.
But if you had an assistant.
He's my robot.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like God intends that marriage to be like your counterpart.
Yeah.
So if you have this robot that does all these things for you.
Right.
And I'm sure like people use other types of mechanical things to get their needs met. I can't imagine that people don't end up doing weird things with robots. We're going to edit this for sure.
Yeah.
But the robot will cook and clean the house. And the robot in the Netflix show or whatever that I was going to watch, she's like a girl.
Was it Megan Fox?
No, is there one about her?
Yeah, there's one about her.
And she's
like
maybe
a horror
it is.
Movie though.
Maybe it was. I don't think so. And it was like, hello, Mr. Spencer. Let me do that for you. And it looked like Megan from Suits, you know, in the outfit. And then it was like, he's like, I got to go. I got to take the kids to school. She's like, Mr. Spencer, I'll take the kids to school. And like they fall in love. And the robot's doing the laundry, taking the kids to school, doing homework, playing toys with the kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. So then I saw.
I wouldn't mind the cooking and the cleaning.
No, it was amazing. Yeah. Elon talks about how smart the robot is. And I was like, I would buy one. They're $30,000.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
Not that expensive.
But not that expensive to have
a robot.
Everything done in your home.
Yeah.
Like think of what you spend on a cleaner.
Right.
Think of what you spend on all these things.
Right.
But then like, are we parents anymore?
Yeah.
It's all good night, Lucy. You know? It's all, dear God, pray for Lucy.
And the math homework, I'm fine with the robot.
The robot's promising Ben, like, Ben, have a good day at work. See you in the closet.
The robot doesn't do its chores anymore. It just promises Ben.
How many women would
the robot's laying there eating bonbons? Ben, I'll blow you later if you just take care of that.
The women are like, the robot's on tonight. I'm taking a night off. When the girls are on, when they're Shark Week, the robot steps in.
Oh, I'm crying.
The kids are yelling. The robot's disciplining them.
Ben's making the robot coffee now. The robot needs coffee.
The robot's picking up Fox from school yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
When he was sick. Oh, gosh. It could get weird, though.
Oh, I'm crying.
I'm nervous for the robots.
I know. I don't want a robot. I'm scared.
Okay. I think you would take one for sure. You would be like, well, I don't want one, but I really don't like doing these other things.
That's
like
true.
Cooking dinner. The robot can cook dinner. Imagine the recipes.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
But because they could just like access the internet. My kids would be happy.
Have you seen the chip? The brain chip?
Yeah.
It's a little scary, but it was like, if everyone has a brain chip, how do you not have one? They're all way smarter than you now. I mean, I don't want one for the Mark of the Beast, but
I'm not getting one. If there's any sort of chip that's going in the brain or the hand, it's a very red flag for me.
Totally. I agree. Okay. One more thing back to Craig and Paige. I also wanted to say, watching their relationship, Paige they would always talk about marriage. They had like their kids' names.
Oh, yeah.
They had all these things. And I feel like it's such a relatable thing to the younger generation. I would say 25 to 35. Mm-hmm. When you're in a relationship, and we've talked about this before, it's better to be first single than like the last one single than first one divorced.
Right.
So it's better to wait for the right one than it is to just settle because you're worried about being last to get married.
And don't play house. I think that's the thing you were saying is when you're together and you're constantly talking about marriage, but it's not happening, that's kind of a red flag. And I've had boyfriends that did that.
So have I.
I remember we were at the wedding, the one you jumped out on the freeway. and I was with my boyfriend at the time. And during the wedding, because I was in the wedding, so I was at the head table. So it was during the reception. I was at a different table because it was like the wedding party. He was texting me like, I can't wait for our wedding. And you're going to be the mother of my children and all this stuff. And in my head, I was like, oh. And then, but yet he's not proposing.
Yeah.
And Ben and I didn't talk about that.
Either did Kyle and I.
And then he proposed. So I feel like when they're a lot of talk, it's kind of,
and that one still didn't get married.
No.
So I don't think it was you.
No.
It was just that they maybe, you know, and one of my boyfriends too, that we talked about marriage, he still didn't get married.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I just think if you're talking about it all the time.
Do it.
Yeah. You don't need to talk about it all the time.
Like, don't talk about the closet. Just get doing it.
I remember one time Ben was building a grill. We were dating, and we were like early dating. It was probably like a month. And he was building a grill in his backyard, and he was like wanting me to pick out the stone for the grill. And I also was like, and I had already done that with other boyfriends where I'm playing house. And,
yeah, so have I.
And so I was like, no, I'm not picking out your stone. Pick out your own stone. You don't get my...
Pick out a ring, and then I'll pick out your stone.
Exactly. You don't get my stone expertise until you put a ring on it. Yeah. I'm not going to just design your stuff.
Well, that's what happened with Craig and Paige. She like designed his house with them because he wanted it to be their house.
Right.
So she like helped him design every room, helped him design the backyard. They've been doing this for years. But he would be like, I'm ready to get married. And she's like, not yet. And then on the episode, she would cry and say, it's not you. I'm just not ready to move. So it made sense.
Right.
But I think inside, I don't think she did it intentionally.
No.
I think
I don't think my boyfriends did.
No,
or yours.
they wanted to marry you.
There was something holding you back. I think when it's not the one, there's something holding you
with
back.
With Kyle, I knew in 2 weeks he was the one.
For sure.
It was the clearest thing I've ever known in my life.
And there was no like red, like no one was holding back. I think that's the main thing. When someone's holding back, it's weird.
Well, I've told you guys I coach high school girls, and they go through all the things. And what I find from when I was in school to now, the guys have a lot more power than they did back when we were younger. I think the more that girls give everything up so easily, sex.
It's like you and Kyle.
Maybe. No, but true.
No, but you're married, so it's
but
fine.
True, right? Like,
yeah.
So they give it up so the guys don't have to work at it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
They lose their leverage.
Yeah, yes. And like I can talk to you for months.
Right.
And I don't have to have you be my girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And you'll still kiss and do things with me. I don't have to pay for you at dinner. I don't have to get you flowers on Valentine's Day.
Because we're talking.
But I get to have the call at the end of the night, the texting all day, the making out and doing whatever.
Right. Whereas the girl didn't do that and was like, no, I'm only going to save that for my boyfriend. He'd be a boyfriend way sooner.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of guys like the high school right now, like the studs, they have their pick because girls are throwing themselves at them.
Right.
And the girls don't realize, like, don't give everyone so many chances and be the one that no one can lock down.
Right.
Be the special one that's not easy to get into.
Right.
Get into pants, get into the phone, get the calls back, like make it a little bit more challenging, be different.
Yes.
We were talking about that in the car. Like, I think it's so easy for girls to just do what everyone else is doing, or guys, but more girls, I feel like.
Yeah.
And, one of my girls just got her heart just crushed this week. Is like boyfriend of a year. They broke up and he's hanging out with the other girls and all that. And I've been there. It's just a good reminder. Mm-hmm. Kyle on his worst day still is way better than anyone ever has been. So. Well,
and back to what you said about if everyone's doing it, that's the talk I had with my daughter. She was on TikTok and I was telling her.
What'd she do on TikTok?
She's going to be really mad, but.
She doesn't listen.
No, she doesn't listen. She was. You know how they do the lip syncing on TikTok? Everyone does.
Everyone does it.
It's so stupid. I think you look like such an idiot.
Yeah. And like go on American Idol maybe.
Or like something. I don't know.
I don't always get
Unless
it
you're a Montana boy, you're not allowed to lip sync. That's the only lip syncing.
But why do they look so good doing it?
I don't know. They're
because
allowed.
You know why? The girls want to be the girl he's talking about.
Right.
Like if any guy's singing Beautiful Crazy to the camera, I'm like, yeah. And
That's
he looks
me.
like
I'm crazy,
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, every girl loves that song. Today my nieces were like, beautiful.
Right. So her and her little girlfriend, it was just a 2-second thing. And I said, girls, I'm going to tell you this because I love you, but it just looks needy and weird. And they both were said to me, everyone does this. And I said, great. All those girls doing it are not happy.
Yeah.
Not one girl singing on TikTok. And I could be wrong. I'm all, don't make this a clip. But because people are going to come at me. Yeah. I'm happy and I lip sync on TikTok.
Yeah. Not necessarily that. It's like they're looking. You're looking for likes. Right. You're looking for reposts. When you're
internally happy, you're not lip syncing on TikTok. Yeah. I feel like that's a pretty true statement. So I'm trying to tell my daughter, because I do think she's happy, don't do that to try to be like everyone else. And I saw this thing on Instagram and it was so good. I think I reposted on my story for the jerkies that follow me. It said, we should make things so one way in like, so not Christian, but we should have such a high standard or a standard that when they see this standard of the world, it stands out as weird.
Like the frog effect.
Yes. So like my daughter's seeing all these people lip syncing on TikTok. She thinks that's the norm. And I want to create such a different environment that she sees it how I see it, how that's weird, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it's so hard to do.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you do that?
I have no idea. Let me know. I know,
I go back and forth on all that sometimes because, you know, we talked about this where they talk about banning social media for kids until they're 16. And we both think it's a great idea. Totally. But we both allow our kids to have social media.
Right.
So really, what does that say about us as parents, right? Like,
I need the government to parent my kid. No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, and we don't agree with that.
Right.
But here we are, like they would be, and we both said it would be easier because then we wouldn't be the bad guys for not allowing it.
Right.
But I also have the trade-off on, you know, one of my philosophies in parenting is the things that my parents made not a big deal. Like drinking, my family's not big drinkers. Mm-hmm. My mom's parents were actually alcoholics. So I think that created that next generation. They stayed away from it big time because they saw the negative effects of drinking. Mm-hmm. And so all my cousins and I, none of us drink. Like, you know, everybody makes fun. I have one drink and it's like very effective to me.
Right.
Because I don't drink a lot. And I think we're a little allergic. Like my heart rate slows down. I don't love the feeling.
Right.
Kelly, my cousin, has the same. It does something weird to our like blood. Mm-hmm. But my parents didn't make it like this big thing. It wasn't like every night going out, don't drink. You know, it wasn't this thing. It was just like drinking's kind of dumb. My mom and dad would drink on holidays. They would have like 1 or 2 glasses of wine. And I remember it's funny.
Right.
And I talked about it this Thanksgiving. I said on the podcast, my mom was drunk. And I felt like it was kind of a negative, but like my mom's drunk is 2 drinks.
Right.
It's not like, it's just not a big thing. And growing up, I was never around it. But I never became a big drinker. Like I had my year in college that I drank a lot and went to the bars and I talked about that. But other than that, I remember coming home 21 and my mom knew and she was like, go to bed, you're whacked. Like it wasn't like, what did you have to drink? Mm-hmm. And I almost like, because it didn't get any attention, I was like, well, this is dumb.
Right.
Because I think kids naturally do want a reaction sometimes. But growing up in church, it was very pushed to not have sex till you're married. It was seriously in junior high and the first couple years in the youth group, I swear every week they told us, wait till you're married. Right. Abstinence, which is beautiful. I agree. But I found that, and my parents, that was like a big one, like don't have sex till you're married, which I completely agree with. And, you know, I'm lucky that I had so many, you know, I followed it the best I could. And
something going on with your eye there.
Yeah. I do want to be honest, you know, let's be honest, you know, but, that was the thing that I think it made it more forbidden. Even eating disorders. I feel like they used to show us videos when I was young in health and like in elementary school about gymnasts with eating disorders or kids with eating disorders. I wouldn't even know what that was if they weren't like telling me about it.
Right.
You know, they were like, don't do this. And then I was like, oh, well,
so
that girl did that. So you're saying when
something's talked about forbidden so much, it makes it, you want to do it.
It gives you the idea of it, you know? And I think sex, the more they talked about sex, the more it was like, you know, a lot of us in youth group were really good, but some people I know didn't wait till they were married.
Yeah.
You know, and that was one of the things. Whereas like a friend of mine's mom was like, hey, if you're going to do it, let me know. We'll get you the things. She was like, not doing it.
Right.
Never doing it.
I think it's different for every person because I feel like my 2 kids that have social media are very different. One is very on it. I have to be like, put it down. And then one is not really on it that often and is more doing other things. So I think it's just depends on the kids too sometimes. Because I feel like I have the same approach with both. You don't think so?
Mm-mm. Not at all.
Really?
Not at all. It's way more forbidden with one.
Really?
Yeah. 100,000% I would say that.
Because
from a young age.
They're on it so much.
No, but I think back then it was like, so you never thought you were going to give your kids social media. You were very anti. It's the oldest. Mm-hmm. So you have like a stronger, no, we're not doing this. Right. We're not doing this. I think when he wanted to, it was like, nope, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not having the phone. He was older to have the phone even.
Yeah.
So I think it was naturally just a more forbidden thing. But I do think it's his personality.
Yeah.
To be more addicted to those things.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, I wouldn't say it was equal.
Yeah.
One was totally like, yeah, but they also earn that because you can trust more. But I think innately we don't realize, and I say this with Kai, to my husband always, we always don't realize the things that we are like accidentally like doing. Like even in sports psychology, it's super important in parenting. But it's so important to say what to do, not what not to do.
Right.
So like, don't look over there. Don't look over there.
Right.
All you want to do is look over there. When we say don't in our minds, we want to do it.
Right.
Instead of like.
Especially some people that are more.
Rebellious, like me, who I'm not staying in the lines. You tell me not to do something, don't touch it, it's hot.
Bears like that.
Burning my hand.
I have to explain to him why I'm telling him something because if he thinks that we're just saying don't, he wants to do it.
That's me.
But if I explain the reasoning and he buys in, then he will. And my husband he's very big on not, his parents didn't explain.
Yeah.
He doesn't
explain.
No is no,
because I said.
No is no, because I said. And I'm like, great, but he's going to do it because he thinks you're just telling him
control.
no.
I don't like to feel control.
That's how Bear is. And so, but for me, if I explain, hey, and he's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, then he won't do it. Yeah. Because he doesn't want to do something wrong.
Yeah.
But he just has to understand. I'm kind of like that. If I think a rule's stupid, I'm like, that's stupid. Like, I'm not wearing the mask because I know it doesn't work, you know? But if I think a rule is like for safety and it's real, then I'll do it.
Yeah. And I just think sometimes it's like, I don't know. We'll see how this all pans out. But I go both ways on all of it. Like, and that's my take with social media is, my oldest is going to be on her own in 3 years. And once she's on her own, do I want her then to learn the rules of social media or the consequences? No. I would rather her make mistakes in my house where I can save her from them a little bit more than when they're fully independent, I
agree.
So that's kind of why I allow it.
That's the only reason I gave social media, because I wanted to be able to work through the issues that would come up together.
But I don't always know if that's right.
I don't know.
Like when I'm agreeing with the government, like maybe they should take it away. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all hard. Well,
there's some studies like done on like what it does to your brain. And I think that like their brains aren't formed yet fully to be able to handle it. And that stuff I do agree with, but it's hard.
I know. I agree. Yeah. So anyways. So we went on our trips. We went to skiing. We were going to talk about that too.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
We go on this trip every year and it's funny. We like to tell everyone, we're like when we're going to somewhere fun, I'm like really excited.
Right.
Or somewhere new, or like we go to Tahoe every summer. Again, both of us, not that I'm justifying it, but we didn't go on a lot of trips growing up. I love you, Mom. But we went to the casino. That's where we went with my family and I love the casino still. But so trips are just a big thing. Traditional trips, yearly trips are a big thing for both of us.
Yeah,
so
we're big on traditions, making memories. Yes.
And so we go on this ski trip. So this is our 3rd year. We used to go to the cabin with us and our other best friend.
And we've skied in Flag and other places. Stupid.
Yeah. It's not our favorite. Like Teisha hates the cold. We both don't ski. I have a bad knee. She doesn't love it. And then we stay in the, we just chill out while the boys take the kids. The kids come back crying. It's a very like not laying on the beach with margaritas kind of trip.
No.
But we're learning in why we do this is, we find that when we take them and we challenge them, they're actually like super proud of themselves.
Right.
So
we force them to ski all day. And
it's awful, yeah.
They literally cry and complain. The first day we usually throw them in ski school or a lesson. The second
day, $1 million.
$1 million.
So then we're mad about it, that their attitude about it sucks because it's $1 million.
It's like as they're getting ready in the morning, we're beating them. Like it's a whole thing.
Not really beating.
No, yeah. And so this year, I do feel like we turned a corner.
Yeah.
Where the kids actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it was really exciting. And it was so funny because when we were getting ready the first morning, Bear was putting on his bib and he goes, "This is my favorite trip we take." And I was shocked because I'm thinking, I take you everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're
you were
way
just
more
in the
fun.
Bahamas.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is your favorite trip because it's just not my favorite, but it was cool that, and we've both said we want our kids to know how to ski and snowboard because we both learned later in life, and it's horrible to learn as an adult. So it was so interesting to me that of all the places we've gone, these are his favorite trips.
Right. And it's not like relaxing and fun all the time. It's like we're making him go back out.
Oh, but him and Ben are fighting the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just a good reminder that if we listen to our kids, because I fall into it. I listen to them on probably 80% of the things.
Yes.
And then I'll remember not to listen to them, and then I'll get smart on 20%.
Right.
So even probably both of us were both going, do we do this trip anymore? They're not really excited. I'm not excited.
Right.
The dads aren't excited because they have to take them all day.
It's expensive.
Yes. And it's like every day, if you would have asked, do you want to ski today? They would have said no.
No, the second day they were crying. Why do we have to go? They came in for lunch because we make lunch in the room, and they were crying. We don't want to go back out, and we were kicking them out.
Yeah, go back. And Kyle's like, let's go right now.
Yeah.
And then the next day we're at lunch, and we asked them what their highs were, highs and lows.
Yeah, highs and lows. We always ask them of the trip.
Not the nice dinner.
No.
It was skiing.
And they all said that skiing and snowboarding was their favorite part.
Right.
And but that was the first year.
Yeah.
So finally, another thing is sometimes you don't get the instant gratification of the lessons that you're teaching, but then later on they'll thank you.
Yeah. So we both did swim lessons. My family is big on swim lessons. It's like swim doc. Mm-hmm. My mother-in-law has a license plate that says swim doc. She taught swim lessons. Our extended family teaches swim lessons. It's like our family is big on swim lessons.
Yeah.
So when I first was engaged to Kyle, my nephew was like 4, and they're like, you got to get him in swim lessons. Right. And I'm like, no one has a pool. What's the big deal? And they're like, does he swim? And
like everyone learns to swim at 1 in your family.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 10 months. They're kicking to the side. And I was like, no. So I bring I'm like, Allie, my mother-in-law can get you in these swim lessons. I'm still trying to like win her over.
Yeah.
So my sister-in-law's like, okay, well, can you take him? Because they worked. And I was like, sure. So I put him in the car. We have to go to the bathroom. We get to, my mother-in-law's. I'm like, hey, I got to use the bathroom. She kind of gives me a weird look. I'm like,
that's not allowed.
No.
Yeah.
It's not allowed. I had no idea. I didn't have kids yet. I was like 26. And I'm like, okay, Jordan, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll see you soon. And I'm getting a weird look by everybody. So I get back and they're all swimming and kicking. And we walk out there. Everyone's screaming. Every kid is crying the whole time. Back then, the lesson was like an hour because they did it different.
I remember.
So I'm seeing all these kids just screaming. My mother-in-law's doing all these things to the kids. And my nephew starts seeing the kids screaming. Imagine... as adults.
Well, as you're walking up to the house,
you hear screaming.
From outside, you hear screaming and crying. And it's kind of like...
the kids start to slow down.
It's intimidating.
Like why naturally, we shouldn't go into the burning house.
No, right.
So we get out there. Jordan starts grabbing my leg because all the kids are screaming.
Right.
The water's not super warm.
No.
At this time. So I'm like, okay. So I'm just hugging him, sitting on the side. And she comes over with her hat. It's your turn. So I'm like, okay, Jordan, go with Bonnie. And he like won't let go. And I'm like, no, like go with Bonnie. So she grabs him and just dunks him in the water.
Yeah.
Blows in his mouth. Dunks him in the water. He's screaming.
Yeah.
So now he's screaming. And I'm his aunt. And I'm like, what is she doing to him? She's dunking him, and then making him kick to the side.
Right.
He's screaming. So he gets done with his lesson. And he comes running to me. I hug him. I'm holding him the whole time. Yeah. So then it's his turn again. He's gripping me. She's trying to grab him for his turn. And I'm like, no. So he goes. I don't make him swim in the tomb in between the lessons.
Oh, shoot.
So this happens for 3 weeks. 3 or 4 weeks you do this lesson. So every day I pick him up for swim lessons. He's crying when he comes to me. The whole drive there he's crying. He's crapping himself one day. I'm like, the swim diaper's on. He's crapping himself. I'm like, Bonnie, can I use the bathroom? She's like, you're not allowed to use the bathroom. I'm her family. It's going to be.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to use the bathroom at swim lessons. If they have to crap themselves, they go in the rocks and you hose them off. And I'm like, this is like kid boot camp. I'm not a mom. This is my nephew. I think it's the craziest thing, but now I'm committed. I can't not go every day. Jordan doesn't want to go every single day. He's crying. He doesn't want to go. 4 weeks in the last week, the kids are crying hysterical. And she tells them, she's staying in the pool. Go. It's the craziest thing. Because toddlers, you can't get them to listen to you worth a darn.
They're throwing themselves on the ground.
She tells him go and points from the water. My nephew will walk over, gets on the diving board. She says go. He runs, crying the whole time. Then she'll tell him to wave. They wave at you while they're crying.
They're like, oh. I know, it's funny.
No one's making them. It's like the craziest thing.
Yeah.
And they jump off the diving board and swim to the side.
Yeah.
So then on the last day, you know, they do all the things. She throws them in. They swim to the side. They walk. She doesn't even help them. They're trained. They walk. They jump off the diving board, swim to the side, and they get an otter pop at the end. Mm-hmm. And when you leave, they're on cloud 9.
Oh, yeah.
By the end, the last lesson, he's like, did you see me? Did you see me? And then the whole day, he's in the best mood because he's so proud of himself for facing his fear, jumping off the diving board and swimming to the side.
Yeah.
And it's literally the craziest thing you ever see because you see these kids go from screaming every day to like never seeing a 4-year-old be more proud of himself.
Right.
And it's just like a small example of like what we steal from them if we don't keep pushing.
Yeah.
You know, all the things like our kids cried and screamed every day, every year for this ski lesson. And I guarantee just like my husband they're going to make their kids go on this ski trip. Just like,
for sure.
You know, because Kyle, it was like the thing, they went on the ski trip.
Right.
So now we go on the ski trip. But like, what other things do we rob ourselves or our kids from by not pushing through the screaming or the crying or the things we don't want to do? You know, like every time there's a dinner or something that Teisha doesn't like meeting new people really.
Hate it.
So every time she'll call me, I don't want to go to this stupid thing. And I'm like, you're going to be fine, da-da-da. And after she's like, oh my God, we have the best time. I love Shirley. Shirley's my best friend.
Yeah.
Like you just had that, you know, recently. But what other things do we do that we, just like when we have our first podcast go viral, our first clip, and you want to quit the whole day. What other things are we not pushing through?
I know.
So now what things are you going to make yourself do? Like go to Chino today? Push through?
I don't know if I can push through. It was really
Chino Bandito is so good.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more things I want to talk about. Blake Lively. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What's your stance on this?
I don't know. I don't want to say it because I'm going to get just lit up. I don't love Blake Lively. And
I love her and I still think the whole thing's weird. I don't know what the truth is.
I don't know what the truth is either because there's a lot. Well,
both sides are attacking now.
Now he's countersuing and then he's releasing the text messages that say she wouldn't meet with the intimacy coordinator.
Really?
So she said that he...
Right. She had to implement it because he wouldn't...
Yes. And then he went to the intimacy coordinator without her. And then he released text message proof that he said, let's meet. And she said, I don't need to. So then he had to meet with the intimacy coordinator without her. Yes. So then.
Oh my goodness. This thing's going to get bad.
I know. So I don't know who to believe. I think it was, clearly they had an issue together, but I don't know. Everybody's rallying behind Blake Lively though, but I don't know if it's.
I don't know. See, I've had some podcasts. One of the girls is like, she was like a producer and she's like, I've never seen more chemistry between 2 people. So she thinks it's like a closet, like there's feelings or something. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But that's what she said. She like does this.
But like everybody's supporting Blake and no one's supporting him. So then I think that's kind of weird. I'm like, is he a jerk? Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Are they just supporting her because it's Blake Lively and no one wants to get on her bad side?
Yeah.
Or is he really like a jerk to everybody? And now they're finally like, I don't know.
I know. When I read her things, I was kind of like, oh, maybe he gets away with it and she's going to put a stop to it.
I just don't love her. So it's hard for me.
See, and I really do.
Really?
Yeah, but you were doing her hair like her.
Well, I love her hair. I mean...
That movie is so good. The best book we've ever read. It ends with us.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for Verity. Verity, you know, when she kills him.
What was that?
When she shoves the thing down the throat and like kills her.
No, is that how she kills her?
Yeah, at the end, she shoves stuff down the throat.
Oh, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think they
Colleen Hoover, the best books.
I know. I think they cast Anne Hathaway in that.
I know. It's going to be so good.
I feel like that was really good casting.
Yeah, it ends with us. Maddie wants to read it.
And they did good for this one, too, except not Blake Lively. Again, she's way too old to play Lily. Like, the girl's 23.
Oh, I thought it was amazing.
Blake Lively's not 23. It's like me thinking I'm 23. I'm not, you know?
She looks great, though. I loved the movie. I've watched it 2 or 3 times. I think it was all great.
They cast for Atlas, because in the book I wasn't Team Atlas, and he was kind of mopey, and then they cast that guy from 1923, and I'm obsessed with him, and I was like, that was great.
Oh, I don't even know him, and I was obsessed with him.
Oh, they did such a good job.
He stuck up for Blake Lively, even though.
I know.
Yeah. So I feel like who knows?
Who knows?
But
you just never know.
Teisha likes reading those books because she does she gets her robot out and then.
That's so dumb. I do not. You read those books way more than me.
Yeah, she's got a rabbit.
I do not.
I don't read the books more than you.
And I don't have any toys.
She makes us read the most inappropriate books for book club.
I made one inappropriate book.
No, it was awful. The uncle, he's like, yeah, my niece gonna
It was
awful. And you're like, it's a good book. I'm like, I need church.
If anyone out there's read Credence,
it's awful.
It's awful. Don't read it if you haven't.
It's awful.
It's so weird and dark. And someone recommended it, and then I read it, and I will never be the same. It was really gross.
I know. It was awful.
Well, like, the fact that someone's brain works like that to write that book was concerning.
I know. Colleen Hoover is so good. I'm reading a new one of hers right now, and it's so good. Okay, last thing I wanted to talk about today was that Mel Robbins, if you guys don't follow her, she's like a motivational person. I don't know where she really comes from. Did you know that Dr. Phil has like a doctorate in like mechanics?
No.
Okay, that's wrong. What does Dr. Phil have a doctorate in? It's something weird, and I'm sick of saying incorrect things on the podcast.
Yeah, she says incorrect things, and then we have to edit them out after because she doesn't want to look stupid.
Okay, I was wrong. It's in clinical psychology.
Oh. So like totally his field. Like the exact field that he does. Good thing
I looked into that.
Oh my God. It's like the exact thing that he does.
Oh my gosh. It just goes to show how stupid the internet is.
Oh yeah. Did someone tell you that he didn't?
Yeah, it was like a post.
Dang.
Gosh, all the things we're saying are incorrect.
Oh shoot.
Okay. But Mel Robbins is posting this new book. I just listened to it on Jamie Lean Kurna.
Oh yeah.
It Cosmetics. How do you say her name?
Yeah.
She's my favorite. Absolutely love her. So she was on her podcast, and I listened to a lot of podcasts. And it was this whole new theory that's out there. It's a really good book. I think I'm going to read the book too, but it's called Let Them.
I'll let you read it and fill me in.
I know. I wanted to send you the podcast, but I knew you wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
But it's super interesting. It's about like, obviously we all know to let people do what they want and not let it affect you. But the way she like gives examples of it, it really makes you like, yeah, you're right. How stupid are we all that we let what other people are doing affect us so much?
Right.
Like a few weeks ago when Teisha said nasty things about me, I should just let her because her opinion isn't my business.
That's so rude.
Really rude. Yeah, she did.
Real. No, this is made up.
She did. But I should let you. Like, why do I care what you think about me? It's not my problem. Yes. If you think I'm like that. But why, like other things, like even with Kyle. Kyle does this thing, my husband, he bites his nails. It's like nails on a chalkboard for me. It completely, like, your nails are so dirty, and then you're eating them, then you're swallowing them, then I'm going to kiss you. It, like, grosses me out so bad.
Yeah.
My brother used to do weird things to me, like hawk loogies on me and stuff. So, like, my brother bit his nails, and I have, like, this whole thing. It triggers me into, like, a dark place. So I've asked him, please don't bite your nails in front of me. I don't care if you bite them on your own. It just, when I'm seeing it, it's like, ugh. But he won't stop biting his nails.
Right.
And, like.
Let him.
But let him. Like, I need to just let it go. Dishes in the sink. He's a big, let's soak things. I don't like things to soak in the sink.
Right.
It's just soaking in dirty water. Let's just clean it and put it away.
I think that's a good thing for parenting is let them, because I think so many times we want to do it our way.
Or save them.
And not let them do it their way. Because I'll have my kids do something and it's not the way I would want it done. And let them.
Yes, and that's what Mel Robbins explained in her. The whole reason she got to this theory is her son was going to prom. And her girls, and I could relate to this because my son is very that way.
Right.
But the girls were so planned in their plans. She knew the info a month before. She knew the house they were having dinner at. She knew who the girl was going with. She knew what was happening after. And so it's like the day before prom, and her son's like, yeah, I think I am going to go.
Right.
And so she got a text, and then he's like, yeah, I think I'm going to ask the girl. So they had to like figure out how to ask the girl. And then she had to get these shoes. She had to overnight them because he wanted these shoes at the last minute. So it was affecting her, his last minuteness. But then the day of the prom, they're out taking pictures and everything. And she's like, where are you guys going for dinner? And he's like, oh, I don't know. It's prom night. They're at the thing. And they're like, where do you guys want to go? And they're like, I don't know. So she wanted to like save them by like finding a place, calling, seeing if they could all get in. And she's like, no, I need to just, whatever. And then
like, it's not the way I would do it, but whatever.
It was starting to rain, and where they were going to go was outside. Which is normal. I would be like, no, you guys can't go there. The girl's hair is going to get wet. The dresses are going to be ruined. That's a rented tux. It's going to cost us money. And her daughter reaches over to her and said, Mom, let them. And that's where it like hit. She ended up letting him go to the outside dinner.
Right.
She's like, okay. So they had the best time. It was memories that made forever. They all ate outside. They danced, wet, all the things. And she's like, I just realized how many other things do we do where we don't just let them?
So I agree with that. But then I also have, for example, the other day, my oldest, he has fifth period weight weight training for football, and they're working out really hard right now because now they're getting ready for next season. So it's like the first day back, super hard workout. So in the morning, he had a bowl of cereal. Then he went to school. I picked him up. He was like, oh. So that night, I made dinner. We were going to a movie. He didn't eat dinner before the movie. And I was like, oh, are you going to eat before or after? He's like, I'll eat after. So we go to the movie. He had popcorn and an icy. We come home, and he's like, I'm going to go to bed. And I'm thinking, you didn't eat dinner. And I said, honey, you're working out so hard. Like, you're not fueling your body. I said, all you had was a bowl of cereal and then lunch. And then he goes, I didn't eat lunch. I go, what? You didn't eat lunch?
Why not?
He forgot to. Oh. So he said, I forgot to. I'm thinking, that's weird. But anyways, so you had a bowl of cereal at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then you had popcorn and an icy for dinner. And you're working out. And so naturally, I'm like, you need to fuel your body. You're not going to be at your optimal. Like, it's not healthy. You're growing. You need to nourish your body. You need to have real food. Both of those are crap, you know? And I'm fine with the crap, but you got to get the good stuff in there too. So I'm like, you need to eat dinner. So do you think I just let him not eat but like, that's not building healthy habits.
You can't make him build healthy habits. You can advise him.
Well, you can instill them when they're young. Like, Ben's parents made him eat every meal, and he has like the healthiest eating habits ever.
Yeah, but they live that way. Like, where do you think he's getting Sour Patch and popcorn from?
No, it was an icy and popcorn.
That's your favorite thing.
Well, that's fine at the theater.
I'm saying, though, he's going to pick up on your habits that are instilled at the home.
Right.
By making him, he's going to resent you more by making it not do it because you're forcing it. I would just keep reminding him.
Well, should we make him eat a dinner? Ben's parents made him eat a dinner that he made.
I always make my kids eat what I make.
That's what I'm saying.
I always,
like you have to eat dinner.
Yeah, but like, if, I don't know, he got home and wanted to go to bed, let him go to bed and wake up feeling like crap. Yeah. Let the reality of his choices be, he's not 5.
Yeah.
Like, he's 16 now. So I think, like, at this point, we have to let him.
Yeah.
If he was 5, make him eat the dinner.
Yeah.
But, like, okay, you're not going to eat the dinner we made. We're not making you anything else, so you can go to bed hungry.
Right.
But you can't sit there and be like, open up.
Right.
Like, make someone force feed at 16. There's no way.
Yeah.
Like, you could be like, you're going to feel like crap. Let him feel like crap a little bit.
Yeah.
Let him, like, see what that's going to be like, and then I think he'll buy in more.
Yeah.
But I think advising and teaching what you're doing is great.
Right.
I don't think all parents explain why.
Right. Yeah, it's not to be controlling. It's because you work out and you
Exactly. I think that's smart. Like, I think that helps a lot to explain the why. Mm-hmm. But then at that point, you got to let him.
Yeah.
Because he needs to want to be his best on his own.
Right.
But you can make it for, like you do. You get him protein shakes and you do those things.
Yeah.
And I think... But I think with that one, especially at his age, I feel like you have to like start letting go at this age.
Right.
Because if he does go away to college, you're not going to make him
be there to eat your food.
But like, he has a dad that he can follow and learn. Mm-hmm. And you guys are like a healthy family. Yeah. So I think there's more in there than you think. And I do sometimes think he does that just to like do it.
Yeah. Just
so you're winning by doing,
not giving it the,
and like sitting and having that whole talk. It's also time you're spending with him.
Right.
So like he's getting attention
right.
in a negative way. So maybe when he sits at dinner and eats the dinner, we give attention that way.
Yeah.
Because we all do things for a reason.
Yeah.
There's always a reason.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think he likes not intentionally, but I think he does things just to kind of
have a say. Yeah.
Yeah. And like make a wave in a weird way.
Yeah.
So I think like, okay, cool, go to bed. It's like you took the power away.
Yeah.
And then like when he's starving, be like,
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you gotta eat, you know?
Yeah, I think that's normal. I think all parents I think that's normal.
Yeah.
And like Ben lives like that. But I think you don't realize how much he knows, Ben. He knows. He just like the breakfast. When kids don't want to eat breakfast, Broxton all of a sudden doesn't want to eat breakfast. Don't eat breakfast then.
Yeah, knock yourself out.
Yeah, you'll be hungry. Yeah. And it's better to do it. But like they're getting older. I think that's a hard thing these days is like figuring out what to let go of.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for me to be like, is this something I should fight? Is this something I should let go of? Mm-hmm. But I think we all do better than we think we're doing.
Yeah.
I think we just always think, I always think I could do better at all things.
Well, that's what, Ben makes things that are like a 1, a 10. And so I'm like, Kyle. You can't make
everything
a 10. Yeah. Like, again, if they don't want to eat, whatever. But there's going to be a 10, and we've had a couple 10s. Let's make the 10 a 10 and make the 1 a 1. Because if you're always,
tune us out.
If everything's going to be a 10, then they're just going to be like, oh, this is stupid. I'm getting yelled at, you know?
But the beauty is, that's our biggest issue with a 16-year-old. Hallelujah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
See, what a good friend I am.
I'm all, well, I don't know.
I think that all things though, like even I learn a lot from the podcast because I listen. And I was talking about how, with work, I've never really let go before this last year. I've never really given so many clients away where I really didn't monitor everything that was happening. Like I noticed everybody writes offers without asking me. Like it used to be like, what do you think I should go in at?
Yeah.
Like, and now I'm so glad I let go because if I wouldn't have been in that fog, I don't think I would have let go. And no one needs me as much as I thought they did.
Yeah.
Which is a blessing.
I think they do.
No, but you're good. I don't need to babysit. I need to let them. Mm-hmm. Like let them learn. And I'm watching this new show on Netflix. I love all the real estate shows and it's Selling the City. And it's like a team leader talking about how important it is to let the new team members fail.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about that video clip about letting people fail is the best way to learn. Mm-hmm. But I think with our kids or with anything, it's so hard for my team. I want to you guys feel success. I want you to feel success, but let them, let's all try to let them do something this week. Let people talk about you. Let them talk bad about us on TikTok. Let them.
Yeah.
Because we only have control over ourselves. And the more time and energy we spend on fueling that, the less time and energy is taken away from us by what people say about us, what other people do,
Totally.
Kyle, let them.
Let him
bite his nails. Good luck.
Yeah.
Anyways, she said that as adults, you can't talk an adult into something. And I think as a 16-year-old, we're bordering on.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to listen anyways.
Yeah.
He has to learn for himself. All right, that's it. Jerking around. Have a good week. Have
a great week.
Welcome to Jerking Around, a podcast that makes you feel better about yourself because we're a mess, just like you.
And Crystal makes fun of me the whole time.
And it's great. And it's real.